Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Oh, welcome back. It's time for another Mass Make Monday, and in case you're new to my channel, what I do is I set a timer for 45 minutes and then I try to see how many of a particular item I can make in that time. And today we are going to make pockets with vellum belly bands, and this was inspired by Julie over at Camellia Craft Designs, and I'll leave a link to that video down below. And so we'll start our timer. Oh, and so I've got a variety of vellum out. I'm going to do mostly 6x6 because if you're not new to my channel, you know I have a lot of 6x6 paper pads that I need to get using. So I've got those, but I've also got, this was like a free gift from scrapbook.com with a purchase, and it's a 6x8. And then I do have some pages at the back here that are half of 12x12s because I used the other half for a different project. And these are single-sided and these are double-sided. It doesn't matter for what we're going to do. And then I've got a variety of vellum. And so that's what we're going to use. And so let me go ahead and start the timer and set that out of the way. And let me show you one, and then we'll get to mass make style. So let me grab one of these papers. I'm trying to decide which one I want to do first. Let's go ahead and just do this one. I think I'm going to do it so that the green plaid is out. And so all we're really doing is going to fold it in half. And let's see, where's my bone folder? I'm not sure where my Teflon bone folder went. It might be on the other side of the room. And then we're going to cut a notch, and you can use whatever you got for that. I've got a notch punch that goes with my, whatchamacallit, scoreboard, and cut a little notch out so that you know it's a little pocket. And then we need a piece of vellum. I think we're going to do this vellum, which has been in my stash for probably close to a decade at this point. And I'm just going to cut it down to, so our pocket's 3 inches wide because we folded a 6x6 in half. So I'm going to cut my pocket to, let's do 1.5 inches. Yep. Let's do 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to cut it down to 6.5 because what we're going to do to make our little belly band on the front is just fold over the edges like so and glue on the inside, so that we don't have to deal with glue showing through vellum. We're just going to put a little glue there. And a little glue there. So there's our belly band. And then we're just, that did not glue down yet. Let's try that again and hold it for a sec. Straight? That is not straight. That's good enough. And then we're just going to glue our pocket closed. Gonna add a little bit more glue under there, but like there. And so now we can stick stuff in the little belly band. And we also have a pocket over here. Once the glue seals. I don't know what's going on with my glue right now. I think it's decided it's too cold out. It's like, this is Florida. It shouldn't be in the 60s. Yeah, we finally had cooler weather. All right, let's go through and fold all of our pockets, because that's going to go pretty quickly. I'm also going to grab a circle punch, because for some of them I may decide to do a circle punch instead of the notch punch. You can also, like on this one, decide to just punch the top layer. And I'm definitely going to ink the edges because this one's doing a little bit of cracking. So like for this one, I can come in and just do a notch like that. So you can see on the with the double-sided paper that there's paper on the other side. All right, so let's go through and do all of the folding. Now for the 12 by 12 paper, we're gonna have to cut that down. So we're gonna see how long it takes us to fold these guys. Because yeah, I've got a huge stack. And see, this one we're gonna fold like so and put the whatchamacallits on the inside. And wow, I didn't trim this. Like, this has got a strip at the top, and I apparently did not trim that very straight. So let's trim that up right now. And I think Julie added like tabs at the top. So that is obvious. That is an option. I can talk, really, I can. So for these, I'm probably going to do the notch on the side through both layers, since the insides are like cut aparts from this paper pad. And I wasn't too worried about the fact that I was, not using any of the cut aparts here, because this pack has, I think, 4 of each pattern. So I figured I could pull out after this is done the cut apart pages again and cut them out and stick them in the pockets, since we've got these cute little pockets. This one I want to do the gingerbread houses on the outside. All right, and so those are Echo Park papers. The plaids are Memory Box, and these are Craft Consortium, I think, or Crafter's Companion. I can't remember which one it is. One of those. So I'm just trying to decide which side I want on the out. Let's go this way. And these are Lawn Fawn. So how's everybody doing? So let's see what's going on. Last weekend, I think I mentioned it in this past Monday's mass make, that I did yard work on Saturday. And as I was editing the video, I realized, oh, and these papers are by Mintay. And they are a little thicker, so I got to be a little bit more careful with the folds, because it's a little harder to fold with the thicker paper and get it even. This is trying to not be folded in half all the way. But I realized when I was editing the video, I didn't mention what type of yard work I was doing. My dad came over, and this is a lesson he had me a couple weeks ago by him. He has me make his Amazon purchases because I have Amazon Prime. so that that he can get the free shipping. Order him a chainsaw, because he had, you know, bigger branches and stuff in his yard he wanted to cut up, and he wants to trim back some of the branches on the tree over my house, and there's some trees growing under the power line leading from the pole to my house. And so that's what he did on Saturday. He came over and he wanted to trim all of those back to get them away from the power line. And yeah, he nearly gave me a heart attack doing that. So, and I helped him with that, and then we did clean up for a while. So we spent about an hour and a half out, and yeah, I think he was really trying to give me a heart attack. I think he was trying to get himself electrocuted doing this. Oh, it was very stressful for me. He's fine. He's like, this is great, no problem, it'll be fine. And I'm like, yeah, power lines. So I texted my sister that he was trying to give me a heart attack, and she's like, oh geez, what's he doing? And I tell him, and I'm like, yeah, he's trying to get himself electrocuted. When we were done, I sent her a picture of what it looked like, and his dad's like, well, tell her I wasn't successful at attempting to electrocute myself. I was like, all right, I'll let her know. So yeah, that was my fun-filled last Saturday. Oh look, we're almost done with the stack, and I think I am gonna maybe quickly cut the 12x12s down. This is a gorgeous Mintay paper pack as well, and it has several of each sheet, so I'm going with the planer because I figured, I don't know, covering that with a belly band. Actually, that might be kind of cute with a clear vellum belly band, and then just clip this in. Okay, we're going to do this one this way out. All right, where are the, oh, we've got the 6x8s. Let's do those, because that'll be a different size. Now, my journal pages are 8.5 by, what is it? 5.5. Oh, I can talk. Really, I can. So the 8 will fit on the pages, no problem. So I'm not going to like cut them down at all, but that is something that you could do as well, is to trim them shorter if you wanted. And I'm looking at the stack and I'm thinking, I've pulled out the 12x12, but I'm thinking maybe, because we've already got so many, like a huge stack already, that perhaps I should stop here. We should punch notches and then start adding our vellum so that we can try and get them all done. Most of them done. Some of them done. All right, let's go through and do our notches. For this one, let's do the notch and leave that showing. Let's do a notch on this one. So as you can see, you can definitely use single-sided for this, because if you notch both, the fact that it's white on the other side won't show. But since I've got double-sided, I might as well notch just the one layer. Goodness gracious. So many folded pieces of paper. Let's do this guy. And I'm sitting here debating with myself, because I'm like, part of me's like, I should ink the edges before we do anything else. That one might be kind of cool. I've kind of switched to the circle because this is faster than laying it on the table and using the notch. So these I'm going to do double because I don't think the other side is, you know, going to show very, like, there's not a whole heck of a lot showing kind of thing. If that makes any sense. Whee! And I have got little pieces of half circles flying everywhere. Like, I'm covered with little half circles. Let's do a few more with the notch. One is going through 2 layers and it does not like going through 2 layers, so we'll use the circle. A few more and then we'll get 2 vellums. This one. Okay, that's done. Let's move on to the next step. All right, so let's see what's been going on lately. It's been a fairly quiet week. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this. Let's see, at 6.5. So I've got, for all the 12 by 12, I've got, let's cut a 6.5 piece off so that we can then cut off our strips as we go, or maybe what we'll do is just cut all of the strips. This vellum is, I got it last year at Michael's. It's a Recollections pack of snowflake vellum. So I figured, ooh, when I saw this project, this was the first thing I thought of, was I could use my snowflake vellum to create the pockets. So that is what we're doing. I'm trying to think. All right, so yeah, I had Dad came over and we did yard work on Saturday, and then Sunday I went to the grocery store. And that was about all the excitement on Sunday. Let's see, I've got a couple that are 8.5 by 11. That is a little bit more purple than I thought. We'll just go ahead and cut it down anyway. And let's see, can I cut? Oh, that is already cut to a weird length. Let's see if that's the right length. Let's just cut these down to 6.5. Okay, let's cut this at 6.5. And then I've got some random scraps. And what I think I'm going to do is move this out of the way because it takes up a lot of space. Grab my chomper because that I can cut 1.5 inches off more easily. And then I've got some other vellum scraps. Let's see. We want to do, yes, but that is too wide and too long. I think, I've got to shorten it, and this is not big enough to do that. Unless I go like this. then I can cut. Ooh, 6.5 is going to be too long to use the chomper for. All right. We'll pull out our paper trimmer again. Go to 1.5. And let's go ahead and grab our papers and at least cut off a few 1.5 strips. Let's try, I think I can do 2 pieces at a time to speed this along. Thought about prepping this in advance and then didn't, and now I'm thinking I probably should have. That would have saved time. So yeah, that was my weekend excitement. And then this weekend, tomorrow is Saturday, and I am going to the Orlando Museum of Art's Festival of Trees with a couple of friends. These got a little wonky. All right, I'm gonna set that aside and then do a stack of these. And we go every year, and it is always a good time because what we do is we go to the Festival of Trees, and it opens at like 10 in the morning. So we meet up at 10, wander around, and look at all of the pretty decorated trees and wreaths and all of the other exhibits at the museum. And they usually have a holiday shop, and the museum has a museum gift shop, and so we wander in the shops. And then we drive out to Mount Dora, which is a cute little town in the Central Florida area. And we do lunch. And this year we're trying a new restaurant because we used to go to, they had a tea room. And that was where we went pretty much every year for our post-Festival of Trees lunch. But they closed last year. The owners decided they wanted to retire, so the tea room is no longer there. So last year we went for Italian. We went to an Italian place in town and had lunch before we did our shopping because they have a cute downtown area with lots of shops and restaurants and things like that. So we usually do lunch and then spend a few hours wandering around the shops and, you know, do some Christmas shopping, some just random shopping, and have a lovely day. So that is on our agenda. And they have one of those shops that sells like gourmet olive oils and vinegars. So we always stop in there. We've got that on our agenda, and so that will be a lovely day out. And of course, in between that and filming and all that good stuff, I'm cleaning my house because here in the U.S. next week is Thanksgiving, which is really just a holiday where we eat a lot of food and are, you know, grateful for our many blessings and all of that. But really, it's all about turkey. For me, I'm like, I love Turkey Day, and I host, so I'm in the process of cleaning because it also is my holiday decorating weekend. So I always do a big clean before Thanksgiving, and then once I do that, my house is all set, and I spend the rest of the weekend decorating. So I have a very busy couple of weekends coming up. I've got to cram in some time to get filming done. I actually already have the rest of the videos for this week filmed. I managed to film them this past weekend. So that means I have time where I can, this weekend on Sunday, spend time filming for the week after Thanksgiving. Let's see. Let's do a few of these. How long is this piece? Is this piece long enough? Oh, it will just work. It's just long enough. Like, it'll be a little shorter in our foldovers, but that's not really all that big of a deal. All right, so yeah, I need to get the filming for Thanksgiving weekend out of the way, if at all possible, on Saturday or Sunday of this weekend. I've got to figure out what it is I am crafting. Spend a little bit of time thinking about that, because I don't know what the heck I'm making next. So there's that. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. We actually are finally having cooler weather. As you can see, I have long sleeves on because it dipped down. Our high today is only supposed to be in the upper 60s, which for Florida is cold. If you've lived in Florida long enough, you consider that to be cold weather. Exchanged a couple texts with my cousin earlier today, and I commented on being cold and my dog not being a big fan of the cold, because he is very much a Florida dog. All right, let's put the leaf ones on some of the fall ones that I've got in this stack. Let's see. I think that will work on there. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay. And yeah, I'm feeling the need to ink the edges, especially at least the curved bit of the edge, because that will be harder to ink once everything's closed. So we'll get and do that, and the rest of the inking I can do later so that we're not here all day. Not that we would be. Oh, this is actually a Christmas one, but you know what? It's feeling a little fall, and we're going to go with it. All right. So again, we are going to just fold over the bottom and the top and glue them on inside our pocket so that we don't have glue showing, because that's always an issue with vellum, is disguising, hiding, gluing, because yeah, since it's see-through, there's the issue of kind of looking at this one and wishing I had done it like this. That would have been kind of cute with a clear vellum. I may have to do another one of these pages and make it as a Christmas pocket. But since I've already glued the pocket on, we're gonna go with that. All right, that one is done. That's not going to get the leaves. That's not going to get the leaves. That one is. And the leaf vellum is another one that's been in my stash for ever. Really trying to use my stuff, because I have too much stuff. And I keep getting new stuff because they keep coming out with new stuff. So I need to use the old stuff to make room for new stuff. I have a feeling for 2025 I'm going to put myself on a shopping moratorium just because too much stuff. Oh, ink the edge along here, and I'm just using whatever's on the brown dauber, which is probably vintage photo-y. Yeah, I have too much stuff. I need to use the stuff I have and stop getting more stuff. I'm just shifting some stuff off to the side so I can access the brown ink, because I'm going to need that eventually to re-ink the dauber. This is so not centered. That's why I tend to avoid eyeballing center, because it never works out right. still gonna go with it because even though you can't really see the leaves, you can kind of feel them because it's a textured vellum. So we're gonna go like that. So yeah, these are super simple to make, but it's just, when I started doing it, I'm like, great, another idea for my 6x6 paper pads, because, you know, I'm a bit of a sucker for the 6x6 paper pads these days. And an idea for vellum, which I bought that snowflake vellum pack. As soon as I saw this idea, that was the first thing that popped into my mind. It's like, ooh, I could do some Christmassy ones, and I am not putting these on very straight. I need to pay better attention to that. All right, this one, I think we're gonna go with just a clear piece of vellum, and I'm gonna just mark where we need to cut off and grab my Sharpie back, and, or technically as it's officially known, guillotine trimmer, and just trim that piece off. A little ink there. Try and be straight this time. Let's fold over. Glue. Fold over and glue. Let's leave the pages. Oh, I'm wondering if I should grab my Barely Arts glue, because I think that works a little bit better with vellum. See if that solves our popping up problem. Let's do that. So do you have any exciting plans for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday? Since this is going to air Monday before Thanksgiving. Like the green? I kind of like the green. Let's go with that. I'm just using the lines on my mat to try and keep it straight-ish. That is not working at all. All right, let's flip this over. I think because the other band was whiter, it matched up with the lines better. All right, let's see how it works with the Barely Art glue. So as I said, I host Thanksgiving, and so it's going to be me, my dad, my sister. Fairly small event, although I'm going to get a ginormous turkey because my goal every year is to not have to cook for another week after I cook Thanksgiving dinner, is to just have turkey leftovers. So yeah, I tend to get a turkey that's way bigger than 3 people need turkey-wise, because I'd rather have a ton of leftovers. So I make that. I make potatoes del Monaco, which are basically, yes, I did ink that. Okay. This one I'm just gonna use, I think, the clear guy on. And that is way too wide. Let's see, use the scrap skinnier? That scrap is not skinnier. Nuts. All right, you know what? We're gonna cut it shorter and then cut off a little of the width. So it's basically you cook the potatoes, peel and cut up the potatoes. Although I think the recipe as originally written is you cook the potatoes in the skins, then cut them up and peel them and cut them up. And I find that to be way too much of a hassle. So I cut them up and cook them in my pressure cooker. And then they go into a bechamel, I think is what it is, because it's just butter, flour, milk, or I usually use fat-free half and half because it's fat-free and is thicker than like a skim milk, because then using skim milk, it takes forever to get it to thicken up. And so you just thicken that up, mix the potatoes in it, put it in a baking dish, and top it with shredded cheddar cheese and breadcrumbs and bake. So I make this dish like twice a year for Thanksgiving, and Easter is the only time I get it. And it's like, I love it. It's so good. It's like just creamy, cheesy potatoes. So we'll make that. We'll have mashed potatoes because my sister loves mashed potatoes. And then a recipe I got from my mother-in-law that when my ex-husband and I first got married, I was in law school, so we did not travel for Thanksgiving. So one of his favorites was his mother's giblet stuffing. So I learned how to make giblet stuffing my first year of being married, and have been making it ever since, because I am not a big, or had not prior to that been a big fan of stuffing. So I tend to just, that was not one of those dishes that I particularly liked. And then I made the giblet stuffing recipe, and it is so dang tasty. So I make that every year still. And then cornbread and crescent rolls, because it's not a holiday without crescent rolls. And then canned cranberry sauce. I did try one year to make, a friend of mine from work has a cranberry sauce recipe that uses like Grand Marnier and all of that. And so I made it, and everyone in the family much preferred the canned stuff. And I'm not a big fan of cranberry sauce, period. So it was one of those, everyone just was like, we don't need the fancy stuff. So from then on, I went back to just making, or just buying the, Ocean Spray cranberry sauce in a jar. The jellied kind. Because, that was what the family preferred. So that's what I do. All right, let's see. Let's decide. All right, this one's snowflake. Let's grab our snowflake pieces and get a whole bunch of those done. I think that one I just used, so let's use that one. And yeah, they're not showing up, like, it's very subtle on like this busy background, but I'm okay with that. So I'm trying to keep them straight. That's my real problem. It's keeping things straight. So yeah, that's the menu. Oh, and a vegetable, obviously. My sister will make, she has a green bean recipe. That, it's green beans and cherry tomatoes and shallots and in it like a vinaigrette, and if you are so inclined, you can add goat cheese. I tend to just eat the green beans without the cheese because I'm not a big goat cheese fan. So that, and I may make Brussels sprouts. That's a possibility. Where's the greens? I think, let's try doing the green. Oh yeah, I like that. So that is our Thanksgiving menu, and ooh, we only have like a little over 5 minutes left. Boy, time flew by. And are you shocked to see that I didn't get nearly as many done as I was planning on? And I just realized I cut all of the pieces to 6.5, but the 8 by 6 papers, that's not going to work for. They're going to be too short. I'm going to have to cut separate paper for those. So, although I do have the, whatchamacallits, the clear vellum that I didn't cut down that I could probably use for one of those. Let's do one of those. And I forgot to ink again. Just because it helps it stand out as a pocket on some of these, like, kind of thing. And another thing Julie did that I'm just now thinking of is she rounded corners. All right, I want to do one of the 8 by 6 ones, so let's cut a piece narrower. Let's do this one, I think. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So we'll do that, and fold there, and grab our paper trimmer. And is anyone shocked that there's like a huge pile of half-finished ones off to the side that we are not going to get to during this 45-minute session? Anyone? No, didn't think so. And here I was like, oh, these will go quick, which they are going fairly quick. I just am insane and grab way too much stuff to do in 45 minutes every single time. Oh, and I forgot 2 of the best parts of Thanksgiving dinner is dessert. I make a mean pecan pie, and it's not Thanksgiving without pumpkin pie. So we will be having pecan and pumpkin pie at our Thanksgiving table. I was watching an episode of the Holiday Baking Championship on Food Network, and they did battle pumpkin versus apple, and I'm like, pumpkin all the way for me. I am a pumpkin girl, which I've probably mentioned before. But yeah, I love all things pumpkin. Let's do that. And that. And go like this. And that. And glue and glue. So, yes, I'm very much looking forward to Thanksgiving dinner. And then I will be going shopping on Black Friday. I don't go out at like insane hours, but I do tend to hit a few stores. I usually end up at Michael's and Joann's. And I'm trying to think where else I go. Well, I used to go to Bed Bath & Beyond, but they don't have retail locations anymore. Let's see, where else will I go? I'll hit Target. And I usually go by PetSmart and get the dog's new toys for Christmas. Let's glue that one down. This is going to be the last one we get done, because one other thing that I'm pretty sure Julie did on hers was she rounded corners, and I'm like, I kind of want to round corners, but probably should have done the rounding before gluing them closed, just because my corner rounder is probably not going to like going through the double layers. But let's see. Let's do this one. And I forgot to ink again. Oh, that went okay. I think on the Mintay paper, I'm probably going to have more difficulty with it because that stuff is super thick. So there we go. And there goes our timer. So let's see how many we actually got done. So I've got, go back in, this whole pile over here of ones not finished yet that I will finish up at some point. And all of our cut up vellum. I can go over there. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Not too shabby for this Mass Make Monday. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting!